2015 ha sido un año de encuentro entre dos países. México y Reino Unido han celebrado el Año Dual y la Feria Internacional del Libro de Guadalajara de alguna manera es la conclusión de este feliz encuentro. John Whittingdale está a cargo, es la contraparte de Cultura, la contraparte británica, el secretario Whittingdale. Thank you very much for the interview. So now, what general balance can we obtain from this encounter between the UK and Mexico? A dual year.
Well, obviously relations between Mexico and Britain have always been strong, but I think that the year has been a great success in giving people from each country the opportunity to experience and learn more about the culture of the other. So there have been a huge number of events all across the year, and of course we're now coming to the end of the year with the fact that the UK is the country guest of honour at the book fair in Guadalajara.
This encounter is a chance also to identify strong bonds, but also areas of opportunities and some others to be reinforced. What would be those areas?
Well, the dual year has allowed us to build on existing relationships. We've just this morning had the signing ceremony for an exchange between universities in Britain and universities in Mexico, which will lead to a number of academics travelling to experience teaching in each other's country. We've also had a number of art exhibitions and cultural exchanges, and also some serious business and some increased trade opportunities for both countries.
It is also a chance as to somehow evaluate and learn from the cultural structures and administration. You've got a strong presence all over the world via the British Council.
Absolutely.
And some other institutions that promote not only the language but UK culture. What can we learn? What can Mexico learn from your cultural infrastructure and organization? What can the UK learn from Mexico in the same terms?
Well, the British Council, as you say, does a fantastic job, and particularly can help in the teaching of English, which I know is a priority in Mexico. And one of the ways in which you can improve and learn about English is by experiencing English writing, English film, English theatre. And of course, next year we in Britain are marking the 400th anniversary of the death of William Shakespeare, probably our greatest playwright. And we've been talking whilst we've been in Mexico about how that might be marked here with productions of Shakespeare's plays in Mexico. And of course it also coincides with the 400th anniversary of the death of Cervantes.
Is there any chance that you could give us an advance of what the activities that the UK is organizing in Mexico and all over the world?
In terms of Shakespeare, not yet, but we are intending that there will be performances of Shakespeare all over the world, and also that schools should be involved. We're very keen that children and also unusual areas like prisons, where there's a program where people in prison will be performing Shakespeare. Culture reaches every corner, and that's one of its great strengths. That's why it's important we should support it and invest in it.
There might be also a reflection how culture can help a world which is sometimes in crisis. We have a migration crisis as well, both in Europe, in Mexico. We have violence, we have wars. Europe has been stricken by terror attacks. What are the challenges for culture as to somehow enhance and promote a better understanding in terms of culture? We talk about economics, we talk about public policies, about social security.
Well, culture increases understanding, which has to help build relationships. But also culture is a very important part of a nation's identity, its history. And one of the things that my department in Britain has recently started is an initiative to help in countries like Syria and in Iraq, where obviously terrible conflicts are taking place, and you have a very destructive terrorist movement that is destroying a large part of the culture of those countries. And so we have actually just launched an initiative to try and help save some of the great national heritage. Now that is, something for the world. These are ancient artifacts which are the treasures of the world, but also they're very important for those countries. If Syria and Iraq are to have a future, then they need to one day be peaceful and attract visitors.
Mr. John Whittingdale, thank you very much for the interview. Ahí tiene usted parte del balance de lo que ha sido este encuentro entre México y el Reino Unido a través de todo este año 2015 y que de alguna manera está concluyendo con la participación del Reino Unido en la Feria Internacional del Libro de Guadalajara.